Module 11, Communicating Different Messages. What is a team-focused message? Discuss the purpose and use cases of team-focused messages in a business content. Before we can understand the purpose and use of team building communication, we should start with a discussion of the importance of collaborative teams in today's workplace. There are multiple benefits of collaborative teams versus individuals working independently. First, we notice an increase in creativity due to the sharing of different ideas, experiences, and expertise. Every employee brings a certain body of skills and knowledge to the group. Shared knowledge and complementary skills are strong tools to be used to handle complex projects and assignments. The more the team talks about a project, the more ideas are generated. Having the perspective of several colleagues is far greater than the individual having only one set of ideas. Secondly, we see an increase in productivity from collaborative and empowered teams. In the technology industry, for example, high-performing teams are the norm in the workplace. The team works with the business owner to decide exactly what work is committed to be completed in a set amount of time. The team then works together to break down the work into manageable tasks. During that work cycle, the team talks every day about the progress, and work may be shifted between team members based on availability and expertise. As the team remains together over several work cycles, there is a measurable increase in the amount of work the team can accomplish. Other benefits of collaborative teams are: 1. Team promotes a wider sense of ownership. 2. Teams encourage healthy risk taking. 3. Teams could contribute to employee satisfaction and retention. Given the benefits of collaborative teams in the workplace, the key is how organizations can create the proper environment to foster team creation, collaboration, and growth. The right conditions have to exist to encourage trust, camaraderie, and the sharing of expertise and experience. Team-focused communication is a key component in successful teams. Team-focused communication is a key component in successful teams. Team-focused communication messages can take a variety of forms, including IM, text, chat, email, video, audio, and document sharing. Team-focused messages can be short or long, casual or formal, but they must always be professional. Since teams are usually geographically distributed, virtual and or remote. Companies must provide the tools and platforms to promote and facilitate team communication. While this whole course has emphasized the importance of editing and proofreading, you can generally be more casual about these matters with group chats. Starbucks recently adopted a team communication platform from Facebook called Workplace in order to foster organic, peer-to-peer collaboration. After only several months, Starbucks report that more than 80% of the organization's store managers use the platform weekly. You can see from the case study how important team-focused communication can be in the workplace. In early 2017, when one store manager commented on a popular off-the-menu beverage, other managers chimed in, and soon 40 other managers said this secret beverage was increasing in demand. That night, the category marketing team at Starbucks HQ saw the comment thread and, based on the drink's popularity, decided to make it an official menu item. What usually takes several months was possible in less than 24 hours, thanks to the collaboration at the workplace. Short team focused message. Learning outcomes. Write a short team focused message. Since interactivity is key to a framework, a chat environment is a great team focused communication platform. Short team messages can be communications such as status updates, meeting requests, notes of appreciation, or invitation or invitations to a meetup after work. Giving the team a way to respond as a group can be important in order to get everyone's ideas and opinions in the same message thread. Figure 1 shows three team members commenting on the status of a PDF. How are things looking with the PDF? Corey, we'd love to have it, but first thing tomorrow morning. But understand if it's turned into a bigger project. C, yes, sorry I didn't reply. I've been on the road all day. I have it done and I'll send it as soon as I get to a Wi-Fi connection. Oh, awesome, thanks. T, perfect. I can probably get it all wrapped up. TOC, then. Amazing, thank you both. A short team focused message can also be in the form of an email, especially for the quick file attachment sharing to multiple team members. To Jeffrey Penrod, CC, Matt King, Joe Abbott, Mary Thomas. Subject, here are the notes from today's meeting. From Tom Eastman, attachment, meeting notes 5/12/17. Hello all. As promised, the notes from today's session with the customer are attached. Thank you. Tom Eastman, Product Manager, XYZ Inc. Team-focused communication is a great vehicle to keep team members informed, ensure projects are moving, and ultimately achieve strong results. Given all of the technology available in the workplace today, it is even easier than ever to create and send messages to your colleagues. One caveat, be aware and considerate of your teammates' personal space. If you send an email, don't text or IM right away to ask if they received your message. Don't bother your colleagues after hours or on weekends unless you have mutually agreed to do so. Long team focused message. Write a long team focused message. Learning outcomes. Write a long team focused message. When considering how to communicate a fair amount of information to your team, it is wise to step back and consider which channel would be best, not only to send your message, but also to allow for your colleagues to comment and interact with the rest of the team. Here's an example of a long message to a technical team sent via email. Hi team, I had the opportunity to talk to some customers about our primary competitor's new product. Here are some of the areas where it may fall short based on the feedback. Many people agree that product X is easy to use and adopt. However, the problem is that you also need to provide access and views for other users and roles across many teams so that the whole organization can view performance. Product managers using product X complain that there is no way for them to manage a single backlog for multiple teams or report back on how the teams are doing on higher level initiatives. As PMs, you need a lot more than issue tracking to manage the growth and development of your product line. Portfolio managers. Portfolio managers involved in setting strategy are limited with Product X on how to represent investment themes in an agile enterprise. They need more visibility than just an iteration or two of work. The need would be more layers than just a stream of customer requests and defects. For development managers and engineering managers, Product X doesn't provide them the ability to do capacity planning. At the root of all of this, at the root of that is the ability to get a good understanding of their team's velocity. Something that is not possible if you can't split stories across multiple iterations. In the Product X world, you have to move the whole story if you can't finish the story in one iteration. As a result, stories languish across multiple iterations, and the whole concept of velocity is lost. With no understanding of a team's velocity, productivity improvements and predictability metrics are lost as well. With no capacity planning across multiple teams or people split among teams, managers struggle with their ability to manage people and resources needed to meet their commitments. Develop managers and engineering managers. Product X doesn't provide them the ability to do capacity planning. At the root of that is the ability to get a good understanding of their team's velocity. Something that is not possible if you can't split stories across multiple iterations. In the Product X world, you have to move the whole story if you can't finish the story in one iteration. As a result, stories languish across multiple iterations, and the whole concept of velocity is lost. With no understanding of a team's velocity, productivity, productivity improvements and predictability metrics are lost as well. With no understanding of a team's velocity, productivity improvements and predictability metrics are lost as well. With no capacity planning across multiple teams or people split among teams, managers struggle with their ability to manage people and resources needed to meet their commitments. Program managers complain that they are swimming in a sea of user stories that are not associated with higher level objectives. There is no concept of multiple project hierarchy. Project managers complain that they are swimming in a sea of user stories that are not associated with higher level objectives. There is no concept of multiple project hierarchy. I will keep you posted when I receive more feedback. Thanks, Ellie. What can we say about this message? Yes, it is long and contains much detail. The author has broken it up nicely with boldface headings to make it more readable. Besides using email to send this message, what other means could the author use to inform the team in the most interactive way? Certainly, short messages forms like IM, text, and chat would not be appropriate for the volume of information. A report, blog, podcast, or document sharing repository could handle the amount of information, but each would have some drawbacks. Reports are good for large amounts of data, but are not interactive in nature. Podcasts would also be good for the first viewing, but they are static and the information is not searchable. A blog could be a good answer because it could become a living document for the team members to append for as more information about the competitor's product become available. I would think a blog. The drawbacks of using a blog in this scenario would be managing hundreds of such blogs being used for multiple topics, as well as quickly finding the blog you want in corporate wiki. Some drawbacks could be in play with standard document sharing technology when you have hundreds or thousands of emails or documents to handle. The best way to send and manage long team-focused messages could be to take advantage of some of the new team collaboration software platforms. Applications like Stride, Stack, Workplace, FlowDoc, and others help teams keep related information. Whether it is received as IM, chat, email, report, or podcast, organized by topic or subject category, including the feedback from team members adding new content or commenting on existing material. See Module 9, Communicating Through Technology, for more information on collaboration software, multi-feature online platforms. Figure 1 shows Facebook's Workplace. All of the messages, chats, and announcements on the page look to be general team information for a specific project. You could envision everything on a page having to do with that project, e.g. emails, teams, team chats, links to related outside articles, links to related areas in the wiki, collected in one place. What should you consider before sending a long written message to your team colleagues? Who should proofread the message before it's sent? What is the optimum communication channel to inform and invite feedback? Introduction to professional criticism. What you'll learn to do. Write a business message criticizing internal or external business situations. Critical messages are a different category of business messages, and there are different types of critical messages. How would you write a critical message to an outside company you are not associated with versus a critical message to a customer? How would you write a critical message to a subordinate or a colleague? Types of criticism. Differentiate between types of criticism in business. What is the definition of criticism? Webster defines it as the act of expressing disapproval and of noting the problem or faults of a person or thing. The act of criticizing someone or something, a remark or comment that expresses disapproval to someone or something. Criticism in the workplace is generally imagined as situations around a manager and a subordinate, but is not limited to that. Constructive, sometimes negative, Thoughts and comments can also be applied to the actions of colleagues, customers, or vendors, basically persons, groups, or things that do not meet the expectations of the beholder. We will discuss these topics in more detail in a later section. How do you write about issues in the workplace that are negative or need improvement? When putting criticism into writing, the technique will vary based on the situation, who is performing the criticism, and who or what is being criticized. Written criticism in the workplace may be approached in a direct versus indirect style, a constructive style, or an active versus passive voice style. Here are some examples of active voice versus passive voice style. Active voice. I cannot authorize your entertainment entries on your expense report. Passive voice. Entertainment entries are no longer covered in our expense policy. Active voice. Company policy prevents us from offering direct deposit until employees have been on the job for 3 months. Passive voice. Direct deposit is offered only after employees have been on the job for 3 months. The goal of constructive criticism is to improve the behavior or the behavior results of a person while consciously avoiding personal attacks and blaming. The kind of criticism. Okay, here are some examples of active voice versus passive voice style. Active voice. I cannot authorize your entertainment entries on your expense report. Passive voice. Entertainment entries are no longer covered in your expense policy. Active voice. Company policy prevents us from offering direct deposit until employees have been on the job for 3 months. Passive voice. Direct deposit is offered only after employees have been on the job for 3 months. The goal of constructive criticism is to improve the behavior or the behavioral results of a person while consciously avoiding personal attacks and blaming. This kind of criticism is carefully framed in language acceptable to the target person, often acknowledging that the critics themselves could be wrong. Insulting and hostile language is avoided, and phrases are used such as, I feel, and it's my understanding that, and so on. Constructive critics try to stand on the shoes of the person being criticized and consider what the situation would look like from their perspective. Direct versus indirect written criticism style involves the order in which criticism, the reasons for which the criticism, the buffer and the close are structured in the message. Using the indirect style is best for reducing resentment and keeping employees open to receiving bad news constructively. Here is an example